Welcome to the Email Basics Part 2 video. I'm going to walk you through computer-based email definitions and features and the recommended etiquette rules. Next, we're going to show you how to access email on a computer-based program like Windows Live Mail. When you open up Windows Live Mail, you notice on the upper left-hand side you see Inbox-Windows Live. And that's the default of what you see. And in the middle is a list of all of the emails you've received in your inbox. In this case, there's just one. And on the right-hand side is the details of that email. If you double-clicked on it, it opens in a new window and you see the full email. On the left-hand side are folders, but what you see there is two emails. And that's the advantage of having a computer-based program. Because what it does is it goes out and accesses all of the emails that you have and sends them to you onto your computer. You can set it up on how often you want them to be received. Typically the default is 30 minutes, but you could change it all the way up to like 1 minute. Every minute it checks to see if you have any new emails. Other features similar to what you saw when you access your email on the internet. There's a calendar and contacts and other features like feeds and news groups, and that's within Windows Live. If you want to send a new mail, you go up in the left-hand side and you click on New. A new window opens. I'm going to zoom in. First thing you do is type in that row who you want to send it to. It can be one email address or multiple email addresses. CC is carbon copy. On this row, you type in one email or more than one email of who you want to send a copy to. But when they receive it, they'll see who you send it to, and the people that you send it to will also see who is on the carbon copy list. What is blind carbon copy? If you put one email address or multiple email addresses in that row, and you send the email, no one sees that email address. That's why they call it blind. So if you wanted to send it out to multiple email addresses, you put that into the blind carbon copy, and then in the to row, you just put your own name, and so you send the email back to yourself, and that way people don't get to see other email addresses. And a lot of people want their email to be private. That's why you want to use BCC, and we're going to talk more about that later in the etiquette rules. Next, you type in the subject in the subject row. It's highly recommended that you put a subject on your email, because when people receive it, then they will know what the subject is associated with what they're receiving. You then click on the send button, and it automatically sends that email out to the email addresses that you've listed. The difference with save is that, let's say you're putting your email together and you want to save it as a draft and not send it yet because you may want to put some more information in later. When you click on that save button, it automatically puts it into the draft folder, and then when you want to send it, you go to the draft folder, open it up, finish it, and then click on the send button. Attach. If you want to attach a photo or a file, you click on the attach button and then browse to find the information on your computer that you want to send. All email providers have all of these items that I explained to you. The format might be slightly different, but all of them have it. How do you reply to an email? Well, you notice is this one is highlighted, so you want to reply to that particular email. You then click on reply. A new window opens and you type in the information. For example, And then when you're finished, you click on the Send button. And like I mentioned before, it automatically sends it to the email address that you've got listed. How do you add an email to the contacts list? You right-click on the email, like from Marcel, then click on Add to Contacts. A new window opens. You type in the first name, last name. The personal email automatically shows up when you open the window. Then you can put in the home phone and a company. And you can use company for like friend or whatever. It doesn't have to be an actual company. You can put in other information when you click on the left-hand side, like personal, work, and so forth. You can add notes. And then what you do is click on Add Contact. Once you add it to the contacts list, Windows Live Mail has a nice feature. Some other email providers do the same thing. When you send a new mail and you start to type in under the To row, MAR, what you'll notice is a list of email addresses that you have in your contacts list. And down at the bottom you see Marcel Benson. You just click on that. It automatically pulls up that email, and you notice that I've blocked it. And that's what's a really nice feature when you have contacts list. How do you add a new contact? On the left-hand side, down towards the bottom, you click on Contacts. A new window opens, and you'll see a long list of contacts that I have. I removed the email addresses so you don't see them. Then what you do is you click on the New button, and then what happens is a new window opens just like you saw before, and you type in all the information, the first name, last name, and you have to also put in the email address as well. What's a category? If you create a new category, what is that? Category is also called a group in other email providers, and it's a group of emails that you might want to send out, like on the blind carbon copy I mentioned before. And you'll notice like Charlotte Mini Reunion on there and Computer Club Board. Those are all categories, and then you can add emails to that category, or also can be called a group. When you get an email in your inbox and you want to move it to another folder, what you do is you highlight like Marcel and right click, and you'll see this, and I'll zoom in. And then what you do is you click on Move to Folder. A new window opens up, and then you can scroll up and down and then select the folder, like Family. Or you can create a new folder, and then once you've selected the folder, either the new one or like Family, you click on OK, and it automatically takes that email and moves it from the inbox to another folder. If you receive an email that was sent to multiple email addresses and you want to reply to all of those email addresses, you click on Reply All, and then at the bottom you'll see the email you received from Don Cobes, and at the top you then see all the email addresses that Don sent it to. I've removed the email addresses, and the reason is so that you don't see those email addresses. That's why you don't really want to do Reply All, unless you're part of a group that everybody knows everybody else's email addresses. We'll be talking more about that in the etiquette rules later. To forward an email, you click on Forward. When you do that, down at the bottom, you'll see the email that you've received that you want to forward to someone else. The problem with that is if someone hovered over, like Fred Benson, they'd see their email address. So it's really not recommended to do that unless the person you're forwarding it to already knows their email address. There's a better way to do that, and I'm going to walk you through that. If you'd like to forward the content of an email you receive, like this one, with a great YouTube video, what you do is you click on Forward. And you'll notice the information like I showed you before, but the email address, if they hover over Fred Benson, they would see it. So you might want to remove that. So all you need to do is highlight and then press delete, and the same with the below. But the easiest is to just highlight the information that you want to send to somebody else, right click and click on Copy. Then click on New to send a new message. Click here, right click, and click on Paste. Then you just type in who you want to send it to. That way, none of the other information shows up when you send the email. As I mentioned before, one of the etiquette rules is not to forward or reply all, because everyone then gets to see all the email addresses. The reason for that is, let's say they received the email and they forwarded it to somebody else, and that person then sent it to somebody commercial that would get those email addresses and start sending you out, I'll call it like junk email. That's why you don't want to do that. If you want to send an email to multiple email addresses, I highly recommend that you use BCC, Blind Carbon Copy. As I mentioned before, when you put in multiple email addresses in the BCC row and you send the email, no one gets to see those email addresses. The final rule is email content. It's important not to put in any kind of email like sex and other kinds of things. The reason is, people can then take that email and forward it to other people, and then they know that you sent that stupid email. So I highly recommend that you don't do that kind of email. This is the end of the video. To visit more videos, go to my website, www.thevillagescomputerbasics.com, and click on Tutorials.